Well, that's exciting.
Isn't it though? Okay.
All right, I think we have a quorum present. The mayor just joined us. Madam Clerk, you got us up on streaming live.
Yes, sir.
Anything else we need to do? And we are recording. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I think we're just missing one council member. We have a quorum present. This is the September 11, 2023 meeting of the Public Safety Committee. We have a very long and very involved agenda ahead of us. This being the anniversary date of 9/11, I called Chief Courier this morning and asked him if he would be so kind as to lead us in an invocation in commemoration of that very fateful day. I will tell you that there are two events in my life that I remember exactly where I was at the time I heard the news. The mayor and I are both old enough to remember the date that John Kennedy was assassinated and probably where we were. I remember that very explicitly. And the second event in my life that I remember exactly where I was on September the 11th and my office I was in and what was going on at that time. Two events that mark, I guess, my life, unfortunately, are things you just don't forget. And it's part of our responsibilities, I think, as community leaders and civic leaders, that we don't let these events pass by and go into oblivion. We need to remember those firefighters and police officers and several other heroes. Some were just ordinary citizens on an airplane, and they are our heroes. And then the folks who died later on as a result of the impact of that event or events. So Chief Courier, with that said, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you so much for agreeing to lead us in an invocation.
Absolutely. Dear Lord, we thank you for today. And we thank you for the opportunity to serve. We thank you for the gifts that enable us to lead our community. We ask that you use us as instruments to accomplish your will. Please protect our firefighters and police officers every day, but especially today, as we remember the selfless actions of so many at the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and in Pennsylvania. May their sacrifice strengthen our resolve to accomplish your will today and every day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chief, for doing that. I really do appreciate that. And it's just by coincidence that we have a public safety meeting on this anniversary day. And did not want to let that moment pass by. All right, I hope you'll had an opportunity to review the minutes from our August 14th meeting. If you
Move
have
for approval.
a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The first item is a police department approval for submittal of an application for the fiscal year 24 Ernest E. Kennedy Center AET grant. Is Mr. Steve available to give us an update on that? Steve Rumland, are you gonna, is that yours?
Actually thought Andrea was going to be on here. My understanding is this is a grant that we apply for. I'm not sure every year, but it's for our training for our alcohol enforcement officers.
Okay, and this is just to get permission to submit the applications, my understanding. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Move
Is
for
there any,
approval.
is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much. The second item of it on our agenda is the police and fire department's approval to accept a 2023 port security grant award of $411,000 to fund CPD's request to outfit the explosive device team and drive on docks for harbor patrol. And the fire department's request for the hazmat response, training prop, and upgrade electronics. There's a 25% match of $137,160 required. Who's going to take this on for us?
Andrea Hayward is on.
Andrea, where are you? There you are.
Hello, hi.
Can you turn your camera on for us too, please?
Okay, 1 second. I
Thank
have
you.
my mask around my neck. All right. Can
There
you
you
see
go.
me all right?
Hey,
Hi,
how are you? Good seeing
I'm
you.
doing all right. All
Can you
right,
tell us a little bit
so,
about this grant?
so this is the AET grant, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
This is a request to submit an application for, this is for the Ernest E. Kennedy Center for their annual alcohol enforcement team program. This
So this is
program.
the other item on the security grant. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that request is to accept the FEMA 2023 Port Security Grant. It's $411,480. There's a 25% match involved for $137,000. And the grant will fund equipment for the CPD explosive device team and drive-on docks for Harbor Patrol. And for the fire department, the grant funds a hazardous material training prop and upgraded electronics for Marine Vessel 101.
Interim Chief Walker or Chief Currier, y'all want to add anything from y'all's departments about the security grant?
From the fire department, it's just, excuse me, hazardous materials props so we can practice closing off valves and stopping leaks in like chlorine cylinders and such. Also has some associated training that goes along with certain members of the hazmat team. And then with the Marine 101 unit, it's an upgrade to radar and sonar and that type of thing.
Anything else from the police department on this?
No, sir. Andrea covered it pretty extensively.
And then I presume that 137, 160 is going to be split between the two departments.
Yes,
They're
sir.
about this? Yeah. Okay. Very good. Any, do we have a motion to approve item number 4?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Ayes have it.
Good
All right,
stuff.
Chief Courier, we're back to you on item number 5, which is the state of the fire department. And folks, we usually do this on an annual basis. We try to get an update from our various departments and divisions that fall under the Public Safety Committee purview. We've been doing this for a number of years. I think it's very helpful for us to know where we are, what's going on with our various departments. And so the first up is Chief Courier.
Great. Brittany, would it be possible to pull the presentation up on your screen?
Yes. Did you forward that to me by chance?
I did. I did it on Friday.
Okay, give me a second.
You want me to send it right back to you?
If you can, that might be faster.
Hold on just a second. Okay, coming to you right now. So as Brittany gets the presentation and gets it pulled up for us, I will say just a quick snapshot of the last year in the Charleston Fire Department. And the big theme is that most of what we are trying to accomplish, we are actually accomplishing. The trends are overwhelmingly positive, although the challenges that we face are somewhat complex, and there's no easy fixes to the things that we really have to work on. We'll have a slide or two, but most notably the diversity or the lack of diversity in the fire department. It's something that we are constantly working on, and there's no quick fix to get that taken care of. And then also the facilities for the fire department. Lots of improvement over the last 4.5 years, but still some challenges that we face. The positive in all that is that those two big things don't impact the operations of the fire department, whether it's how we put a fire out, how we handle a medical call, how we do code enforcement. We just know that we can do it better. So as soon as Brittany gets that pulled up, I'll keep going.
Pulling it up right now, sorry. Give me one
All
second.
right. So the state of the department, again, overwhelmingly good for us. Morale is improving in the fire department, especially if you start to look at morale from 2018, when we had a change in the fire chief and the deputy chiefs and a lot of the administrative chiefs in the department. 2018 to now, we see positive trends with morale. When I started in the Charleston Fire Department, we were incredibly understaffed, which, in addition to the operational challenges it posed, also put us over budget by a lot, just trying to maintain minimum staffing on fire apparatus. I am happy to report we are now 99.3% staffed in the fire department. A challenge that we face is that year after year, we're seeing 10% call increases from one year to the next. As I already said, our diversity is an ongoing challenge for the fire department. Pay is a challenge, although it greatly improved in 2023. We still have that as a challenge. Leadership training for our personnel, growth, meaning trying to keep up with the growth of the city and making sure that we have got fire protection in place as the city grows into Daniel Island, Cane Hoy, Johns Island, that type of thing. And then the facilities issues I already mentioned. We can go to the next slide. So with morale, the city, since I've been here, the city did an employee satisfaction survey in 2018. That was right before I came on board in Charleston. We did one in 2020. We've done one in 2023. The results haven't been released yet, but I do have a copy of them. One of the great things is that at the time of the survey, there were 386 employees in the Charleston Fire Department, and we actually had 386 responses to the survey. Now, in my entire career as a fire chief, whether it's in the Charleston Fire Department or a previous fire department, I've never experienced 100% participation in an employee satisfaction survey. The great thing is that although percentage-wise we went down a little bit in a couple of categories from 2020 to 2023, look at just the number of people who are satisfied with the way the department is trending, overwhelmingly positive. And that does tremendous things for the psyche of our employees and in the service that we can deliver. One of the things that we have been trying to do is focusing on a trusting culture, trying to be transparent, trying to be responsive, trying to be present, both physically and with whatever information we get from the department. We try to listen to concerns of not just the firefighters, but any employee in the fire department. We try to act on them as it's appropriate. And we realize that face time is important. So just in the current calendar year from January to last week, senior leadership, as defined as assistant chiefs, deputy chiefs, and I, have made 180 station visits. And we don't count, if we just stop by a firehouse and stay for a couple of minutes, we don't count that as a visit. What we mean is we've gone in and we've sat down and we've stayed for a meaningful amount of time, engaged in conversations, what we're doing well, what we need to improve on, suggestions to make the department better. So we've done that 180 times so far this year. And our goal is every station, every shift, every year. So we're well above the number of visits that we need to make. So we'll continue that going forward. If we go over to the operations vacancy rate, operations in the fire department is the fire trucks going up and down the road. So in 2018, we were at 21% as a vacancy rate. When I came into the department, we had 74 vacancies in the operations division. That got as high as 79 in the operations division. Again, a 21% vacancy rate. You can see that we started to tick away at that in 2020. It went up a little bit in 2022, but the important thing is 2023. In 2023, we have a 0.7% vacancy rate. We have 419 positions authorized in the Charleston Fire Department. We have 416 of those positions filled. We were 100% staffed in July, but since that time, we have lost three personnel. None of those personnel is a uniformed person. So our operations staffing is still holding very strong. And that 0.7% actually is department-wide vacancy rate. Our operations vacancy rate right now is 100% staffed, so 0. A normal vacancy rate is about 5% for a department our size. So we would expect to lose about 21 personnel per year. That's across all divisions. Last year, we lost 38 people. And this year, as of today, we have lost 17 people in the department. Now, it's important to stress some of those were retirements, some of those were resignations, and some of those were outside the normal factors. Some of those people we actually moved out of the organization ourselves. I already spoke about.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Maybe we'll go talk about resignations next.
That's what I was just
Yeah,
talking.
go ahead. I'll come back with another question.
Yeah, so in 2022, we had 38 resignations across the department, and year to date right now, we have 17 resignations across the department, whether that's retirements, people resigning for other opportunities, or whether we took action to remove the person from the department. So, do you have a question, Councilmember Shade?
Yeah, so when you look back at your staffing and being at such a low vacancy rate, is that attributable to the lack of resignations, or is that attributable to your ability to replace those and fill those holes more rapidly?
I think it's a combination of those two. Now, the training program hasn't reduced any now, but our hiring process has reduced, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. I really think that the reduction in the vacancy rate, it'd be simple to say it's as easy as we're paying more money, but I do think that that's a factor. The raise that council appropriated for fiscal 2023, it was a huge boost in the fire department. If you go from a 13% vacancy rate down to right about 0, if you go from 38 resignations one year to 17 the next year, something good is happening. I think that the pay is one of those things. I think our firefighters see that the city is investing in the facilities that we're putting our firefighters in. We put them in very good gear. Our call volume is such that they go out and they have the opportunity to use their skills. And last but not least, I think people see that leadership really cares about what they're doing. And all those things combined are what's driving the organization's success.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Chief.
Yes. We'll go to the next slide. So positive trends for us, as I already stated, we reached full staffing in July of 2023. Late last year, we filled all our competitive promotional positions, which was huge. Our automatic aid, which Chief Tom Carr championed after the Sofa Superstore fire, has gone from 5 departments to 7 departments, with Isle of Palms coming on board just in 2023. Our facilities are improving. I'll have a slide about that in a minute, but there is more work to do. Our hiring process has reduced from months to go through the process and get a job offer for the Charleston Fire Department. And that has been an incredible amount of work for our administrative team. But we now bring potential firefighters in on a Saturday morning. We run them through their testing and their interviews on Saturday and Sunday. On Monday, we process all the paperwork and we issue job offers on Tuesday. And we give them 3 or 4 weeks to give their resignations at their current jobs, relocate to Charleston if that's the need, and then we start them in the fire academy. So 4 days to hire a firefighter now. And then also we had our strategic plan revamped. And the slide below there, we now have a new mission, a new mission statement. You see our new mission statement is excellent people providing exceptional service. We want to bring good people in. We want to train them well. We want to make sure that their core values are aligned with the fire department. And if we can do that, then the service that they give is going to be exactly what you expect of the fire department, exactly what I expect of the fire department, because they're going to be living it. They're not just going to go through the motions. And the new vision statement is to create a safer Charleston. You notice in neither of those is the word fire mentioned, and that's very intentional. Our job in the city of Charleston is to create an environment in which everybody in the city of Charleston is a little bit safer today than they were yesterday. And they should be a little bit safer tomorrow than they are today. Now, whether that's through top-notch fire service, which you expect out of us, that's one way we accomplish it. We do it through very, very good medical care, code enforcement, but it also comes down to how do we treat the people in the city? And do we engage with them on a more personal level? Do we invest in their knowledge of how they can keep themselves safe? How do we move all those initiatives forward so that people who are either living in or visiting the city can invest in their own safety, and the fire department becomes that safety valve that they may never need? So those are the things we're working on. If we go to the next slide. Excuse me, here are some challenges. An obvious challenge that we are having a hard time addressing is the lack of diversity in the Charleston Fire Department. So as of today, we're still 92% white in the fire department. We have tried different ways to address this issue, but so far we haven't had the success that we want. Now, if you ask what are we trying to do? What I would like to do is have the fire department mirror the diversity of the city. And the overarching reason I want to make sure that that happens is that the more we align with the demographics of the city, the better we connect with the residents of the city, the better we understand what they need from us, what they want from us, and the better we can deliver service to them. Put it another way, if there is a young child standing on the side of Calhoun Street and that child sees a fire truck go by, I want there to be a really, really good chance that when that child looks at the firefighters, that child sees somebody that he or she can identify with. And if that just sparks the thought that this could be a career for me, then we'll be doing our jobs. So to accomplish that, we did put a diversity and recruitment position in place in 2021. We have a consultant. There's an RFP out right now for a consultant to come in and help Charleston Fire Department look at our current practices and recommend improvements, look at what our future practices need to be, with the goal of having diversity reflect out of the city. Our current recruit class, which is 39 people right now, is 82.5% white, 7.5% black, 10% other or multiracial, and 97.5% male. So we are making some strides in the diversity as far as ethnicity. We are still struggling with male-female. So we will continue to work on that. Excuse me. Another issue that we've got is the pay plan in the fire department. We took a huge leap forward in fiscal 2023. And if I haven't thanked each of you personally, I need to thank each of you personally for what you did for firefighters, for police officers, for everybody else in the city concerning pay. I do know that our firefighters are still struggling with the cost of living in the city of Charleston, which is driving them a little further out and having them drive back into the city for their shifts with the fire department. So that's something that we have to work on. Our fire marshal division is the only uniformed section of the Charleston Fire Department that is not in the fire. Now, that is the #1 budget request of the fire department this year, is to roll the fire marshals into the fire pay plan. As we envision it, it's about $180,000 request. And the way I like to think of that is, can you imagine if in the police department, everybody was in the pay plan except for the detectives? But the detectives, for whatever reason, were outside the pay plan. I think we would all look at that and think that it needs to be corrected. So we do need to move the fire marshals into the pay plan. We do have a continued need for leadership development. About 67% of the chiefs in the fire department have been in their positions less than 3 years. So just building that good cohesive team. We can handle a fire incident, we can handle a medical incident, but getting everybody to pull together and function as one to make sure that the department is moving in the direction you expect it to move is one of those works that we are constantly focusing on. And then another big issue is to improve or maintain the service delivery in a growing city. So what I mean by that is Cainhoy is growing incredibly fast. Daniel Island is growing. Johns Island is growing. But to get firefighters hired, to get them trained, to put firehouses in place, to procure the apparatus that we need to protect those communities, it's a slow process. So just trying to plan out to work with the city, work with BFRC, work with real estate, work with parks to make sure that we've got everything in place to maintain protection in the city is a big challenge. And I think you'll see that in the next slide. So if we go to that. So over the last 4.5 years, we have done so much great work with our facilities. And I've got everything listed here. I can send everything out so you can have a look. But the biggest things that bear comment are just about every facility on the peninsula needs some work. So we just opened Station 6 on Cannon Street that had an extensive renovation. And of course, where fire headquarters is at Station 9 on King Street Extension is a relatively new facility. But we do have Central Station down at Wentworth and Meeting. We do have Station 8 on Hugie Street and Station 15 on Cumming Street. All of those facilities need to be renovated right now. The challenge that we face is that we have no place to relocate the fire protection while the facilities are shut down. So I have to be very strategic in the timeline for that. So those things are the things that keep me up at night, to be honest with you. So there's lots of work to be done on the peninsula. Both our firehouses on James Island have recently, within the last 4.5 years, both undergone complete renovations. On Johns Island, the new Fire Station 23, which will be at Maybank Highway and Wilkes Battery, we are scheduled to break ground in the first quarter of 2024 for that facility. I'm looking at my board now, and I just spoke to Beth Brownlee about that, and she said once we break ground, we should expect an 18-month construction phase. Now, we do need additional fire protection on Johns Island. but that's programmed into our growth documents. So we know that that needs to occur. It's nothing that needs to occur right now. I just put it on the slide to make sure everybody's cognizant of the fact that for the next several years, we will be jumping back and forth across the city, trying to increase fire protection in Cainhoy, in Daniel Island, and in Johns Island. So we will be going back and forth every year, and the personnel costs will be pretty substantial. Every time we try to put a fire company in service, it's 15 people. Councilmember Shilley, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Chief. I see Station 16 on there and I see small renovation complete, but is there still a plan to do more with Station 16 down the road?
Yes, sir. Excuse me.
Okay.
So we did a small renovation just so that the firefighters could go a couple of years in that facility, but the plan is to obtain additional land and then put a new firehouse in that district.
Great. And, just to mention too, I know it's probably not as big as Cainhoy and Johns Island, but we do have Long Savannah that's going to be starting to be developed very, very soon.
Absolutely. And we're already starting the planning phase for what will need to go back in that community. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Chief, on that same subject, before you leave there, where is St. Andrews with their new station? Because they are planning one over on Parsonage Road, right? Old
Yes.
Parsonage Road, I should say.
Over off 61.
Yes,
Right.
have you in contact with those guys about where they are with their new station?
Just at a high level, I speak to Chief Lamoureux, who's the fire chief over there.
Right.
And just asking how the planning is progressing and how the construction is being planned out. I don't have a timeline for when they think that facility will be open.
Well, I just know to Councilmember Shealy's question that there's an overlap between 16 and that new station would come online. So
As far as the protection that is given, or just
the protection overlay, yes.
yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. All right. Are you about to wrap up?
Yes, sir. Just very close. Obviously, I think I've spoken at length about Station 20 in Cainhoy. So we are still working through the land acquisition with Parks. We've already begun the conceptual design of that firehouse, and Parks is ready to start programming meetings with the fire department to make sure we have the facility that we need. Station 21 is future planning, and we currently rent a facility on Cainhoy Road. We're working through a land donation opportunity to relocate that firehouse out of a rental and to something that the city owns. But if you've gone out to Cainhoy in the recent past, you'll see just the tremendous amount of growth that has occurred in that area of the city, which of course drives the need for fire protection and also police protection. We go to the next slide. So the road ahead for the Charleston Fire Department, we're working to make sure that we maintain first-class service and performance to the city and to the residents and to the visitors. I want you to rest assured that you have a fantastic fire department providing protection for you. Obviously, diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are a huge lift for the department, but it's something that we're committed to. We'll continue to address pay and retention challenges. We're really good with retention, and we'll keep working to make sure that our firefighters are proactively dealing with the cost of living issues that we're facing. Moving the fire marshals into the pay plan will be important for us. Just saw a slide about our facilities. Our big thing is to make sure that we are out in the community and we are making sure we create a community that can protect themselves and then use us as a secondary measure when they can't take care of themselves. We'll continue with leadership development. All of this from 2018 to now, if I were to boil it down, I would say family. The big changes in the Charleston Fire Department revolve around that word and trying to make sure that our firefighters know They are not employee numbers to us. They are family to us. With all the good and all the challenges that come with a family. And obviously, I have a photo of the Charleston Nine there. So we always work to honor our past and prepare for the future. That is your fire department.
All right. Before I go to the mayor with, I see his hand up. Where are we with the memorial, chief?
Absolutely. I forgot to mention that. I spoke with Jason Kronsberg in the recent past. So the plants for the memorial were delivered late last week. They are going to plant them this week. There had been an issue with the irrigation system at the site. The irrigation system has been taken care of. 100% of the edging has been taken up and put down again to make sure it's exactly the way we need it for it to be. So I don't have a projected completion date, but I can tell you we are well down that road. And the focus, Jason Kronsberg and I jointly agree. If we have to take it a little bit slower, but make sure that it's right, that's the highest priority for us. So we are getting there. Well, I think within a couple of weeks we'll be complete.
Are we planning any kind of dedication or ceremony? Okay. Good.
We are. Back when the timeline was a little less clear and we thought it was going to be done around June 18th, we wanted to make sure that there was no crossover between June 18th and the completion of the memorial. But now that we're going into fall, we'll go ahead and plan a ribbon cutting, if you will, and make sure that we honor our firefighters.
Very good. Mr. Mayor, I see you got your hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just wanted to thank Chief Currier for this, I think, excellent report, and point out that when Chief Currier came on board, about 5 years ago, there were almost 80 firefighters deficit shortage of what our budgeted positions were. And on just that one point, to report that we are full complement of our firefighters, I think is a great testament, Chief, to your leadership and your team and the recruitment efforts that have gone on in the last couple of years, and now the focus on diversity as well is all positive news. Yeah, we got stuff to keep working on, but that's what we do. God bless you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And on behalf of our team, we appreciate the support that we get. It really is a team effort over here.
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Shealy. Did you have your hand up, Councilmember?
All right, yes, sir. Sorry, I couldn't get it off of mute for some reason. It wouldn't click off. Yeah, I want to echo the mayor on that and, just say, I mean, 99% staffed is awesome. The morale, that's incredible too. I love that every station, every shift, every year. I will tell you, when I came on as a new council member, before you were fire chief, I was able to visit some stations and talk to a lot of the firefighters and some of their association breakfasts and stuff like that. And a visit back then would not have been a happy thing. It would have been a threatening thing. So I think it's awesome what you're doing going into those firehouses and hearing and listening to what our firefighters are doing. And I just want to congratulate you and tell you thank you for all the work that you've done bringing the morale up. So thank you.
I appreciate it, but again, I'm just one small piece of the puzzle. We have a great team, and you have great firefighters.
Very good. Well, Chief, you're making the strides in the right direction. So you and I talk a good bit, and I know the things that you've been working on, and some of those are not tomorrow's fixes. They are just tomorrow's fixes. I know you've got a lot of work to do. So thanks for being persistent, and you're a big clog in this machine. So don't give yourself a little more credit, please, sir.
No,
And again, thank you for the invitation. I really do appreciate you taking the time to put that together.
absolutely. Thanks for the time today.
Yeah, thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, if you'd send that email, that PowerPoint presentation to me as well to all the other members on the committee.
I will. I'll do it right now. Thank you.
Okay, Chief Judge Susan Hodina. You're not really the chief judge, are you? I mean, Have we dubbed you that title yet? Or you're muted, by the way. Susan, you're muted. We can see you smiling, but we can't hear a word out of your voice. This may be the shortest report from the, there you go. All right, you got it now.
Actually, I just have a real short presentation, very, very short compared to past ones. And I guess if Brittany's there, if she doesn't mind throwing up the one page that I have for you to look at.
Yes, give me one moment.
Okay, so while she's doing that, I would like to say that the last time we were here was June 12th of 2023, not that long ago. And Councilmember Shade asked if we would come back and just summarize where we are today. And the chart that Brittany is going to put up for you is basically picking up from where we left off. And so there's really two separate boxes here. And as a side note, this is not a spaghetti model on the left side of the document. Those are just pieces of grass. So we're not worried about a hurricane here at the court. But in any event, so the top box is what we showed you when we were here last time. And basically, just to summarize, this was for a period of June 1, 22 to 5/31/23. And at that point of time, we had 12,043 cases filed. We had 2,639 cases pending, and we had resolved 78% of those cases during that time period. So that's the top box. The second box, the box right below it, is we've extended that time period from 5/31/23 to 8/1/23, August 1st. And I'm sorry, that's not correct. It's from August to August 31st of 23. So that's a correction on that chart. I apologize. So we took it from 6/1/22 to 8/31/23. So during that time, you can see our pending, the number of cases filed went up to 15,133 in that period of time from actually June, July, and August. Of that, we still had 3,015 pending cases. But I think the most significant fact is the last box on the right, which is during this period of time now, 3 months later, we resolved 90% of our cases, okay? So that is a significant improvement of where we were even 3 months ago. And we intend to continue moving along, again, with that goal of trying to have resolved all of our cases within an 18-month period, which generally should be achievable. But of course, there's always outlier cases for various reasons that cannot be resolved that quickly. But I think this is good news to report. Again, this is just a comparison, a snapshot of where we were when we were back in front of you in June, and basically where we were at the end of August. Happy to answer any questions that anybody has. Just one other note is that we continue to work on our case management. And starting this month, we're going to do something a little bit different. Basically, the DUI docket is longer, more complex than the non-DUI docket. And so we're going to have the prosecutors share more cases, which we think will put more resources on the DUI cases, which will mean more cases will get resolved sooner rather than later. But that's where we are today. I think all is good. We're moving forward. And again, thank you for all the resources that you've all given us in the past. We've got new cubicles, we've got new paint in the office, new chairs for the jury room coming. So it's all very positive here. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, anybody on the committee wish to ask Chief a question, comment? Yes, okay, that's a thumbs up from the mayor. That's a good thing. Susan, got a thumb up from the mayor. So Judge, can you go back to that screen one more time, Brittany? Whoever was controlling the screen. Thank you. So just, I want to just go over these numbers one more time with you. The 12,043 cases that were filed in that period of June 22 through May of 23. And then when you shift over, that's the additional cases were filed with 2639. Is that, am I reading that right? Let me make sure I'm following you.
So basically, look right below it, and again, there is a typo in the chart, and I apologize for that. So basically, if we look at a period from 6/1/22 to 8/31/23, there was a total of 15,133 cases. So basically, you've got roughly 300 cases that were filed in the 3-month period of time.
Okay. So the pending cases as of, and that's what I'm trying to get to. So the pending cases as of now would be what, in what box?
So the pending cases are in the middle box.
So you got pending right now, as of May 31st, 2023, 2639 pending cases?
Correct.
Okay, and as of 8/1/23, 3,015 cases.
Actually, it should be 8/31/23, the end of August.
Okay. I mean, 3,000, so the pending cases are 3,015.
Currently during that time period of June 1/22 to 8/31/23.
Well, that's all I was trying to make sure I'm understanding this right. The total number of pending cases at all as of now is 3,015.
Correct.
Okay.
And of that, 1,146 are criminal and livability cases, 1,829 are traffic cases and DUI cases.
Just one more quick question for you. Well, two questions for you. Do you see a trend with anything that has come across your desk with these numbers, Judge?
The DUI cases, and actually I'd refer to the police department to help me on this one if they've got any comments on it, but the DUI cases seem to be increasing some, the traffic cases seem to be increasing. Frankly, everything seems to be trending up, but at the same point, I think we are being a little bit more efficient with our case management so that we're able to resolve these cases more quickly.
Okay.
One thing we instituted recently with the help of the police department is we have a special docket on Friday afternoons for group traffic enforcement cases. And so that's something a little bit different that the police department requested. And so they've been, actively using that extra court time. And I think that is, again, adding a little bit to the uptick in traffic. But again, overall, I think we're using our time more efficiently.
Very good. Is there anything that you need resource-wise? That's my second question.
Well, interesting you should ask. The main thing, actually, we have some very minor requests for increases in supplies and things of that nature. But the one thing that I have talked to the mayor about, and I do believe he supports, is trying to really investigate and try to set up a youth education court here in the court as a new specialty court. And it's really would have two parts to it. One part is basically reaching out to middle school students primarily to come here and learn about how the court system works. That's sort of the educational component of it. The more complicated part of it, but I think the really, if we can work it out, would be worthwhile, would be to have basically a court where infractions that are minor and that the police department do not necessarily feel warrant, taking a young person to jail or taking, even taking them back to their parents, but they would come in front of a group of peers to hear their case and determine what should be the result of the infraction. And so what we'd be looking at are things like maybe minor vandalism in our garages, or maybe the Palmetto Rose kids, things of that nature, those sort of minor cases that are involved possibly use between 13, 14, and 17, and they would be heard in a special venue here, and their cases would be heard by their peers, which would be other middle high school people. And it's not unique. This kind of a court is going on all over the country, and we think it would be worthwhile to really investigate this and try to move forward with it in our court.
Yeah, that's probably a very good idea. Good to hear that from you. All right. Well, listen, thank you for, this is what we need. You've pared this down significantly from past presentations. But that's the information I think that we just need to get hold of, and do want to hear from our judges from time to time, get their input as well. But I think this is a very good summary. Chief Walker, is there something that you wanted to add to that report from our municipal court numbers?
No, sir. The judge is absolutely correct in how we focus in some of the more problem areas based on data. So we are going to see an increase in some of the people that's coming across her court. So absolutely.
Okay.
And Councilmember Shade and committee members, I just want to tell you that we have a very good working relationship with the police department. Their officers do a very professional job when they come in court, and we appreciate that tremendously.
Very good. Good to hear that too. All
Thank you.
right. If there's no other questions or comments from our committee members, we'll move on to item number 7. And thank you again, Judge Rodina, for getting that information to us and providing these updates. It's very important that we have this.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, Julia Copeland, are you here somewhere?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
There you are. Okay. So item number 7, I guess it would be sort of fall in your lap and Heather's lap. But I have been in contact with both Ms. Copeland and Ms. Malloy about and Chief Walker as well as the mayor about some questions about these, not the report itself, but more of the contractual questions dealing with the players who are engaged into this, into the internal audit. I'm not looking for an update as to where we are with the internal audit. That will come later, I think. But some issues did come to my attention, and these may be of a contractual matter that we probably need to get an update from our legal department on. And so committee members, with that preamble, I would entertain a motion that we probably should go into executive session to get an update from either Ms. Malloy, Ms. Copeland, or Chief Walker as to the contractual concerns regarding this internal audit.
Move that we go into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right,